That's why I've been repeating myself. This is not
repeating is not educating. Repeating is not edifying.
I didn't say it was. I said because my perception is you're not getting the argument is why I've been repeating myself. I'm not okay, a one-off with what I'm saying.
Like to get back
I wasn't getting it, and repeating doesn't help. Why the hell would you repeat if you know somebody's not getting it?
What is going on, everyone? So glad you landed here because this particular exchange is one that I keep thinking about days after watching it. Dr. Kenny Rhodes is a theologian with a PhD specializing in the metaphysics of Thomas Aquinas, and he sits down with Matt Dillahunty from the Atheist Experience on the Modern Day Debate channel to answer one of the oldest questions there is there actually good evidence for God? Kenny brings one of the most sophisticated philosophical frameworks you will encounter in this space, built on centuries of classical theism. What happens when Matt starts asking him to define the central term his entire argument depends on is something you genuinely have to see for yourself. Trust me when I say the final few minutes of this clip pay off everything that comes before it. Do not skip ahead. Let it build the way it was meant to. Before we get into it, drop a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from right now. It always genuinely surprises me how far this reaches, and I love seeing it every single time. All right, here we go.
What makes a thing a thing?
No, it doesn't.
What makes
if there is an essence or a form, you should be able to demonstrate that no matter how people have labeled cells.
Well, I can demonstrate it very easily. I can take a form and I can take that form.
What form? What's a form?
Wood and build a house.
What's a form?
Is the essence of a thing. It's what makes a thing.
You keep defining the exact same word. You keep saying the same words over again. Oh, the form is the essence.
Because you're not quite getting it.
That is a tautology.
You're not getting it. That's why. You're not quite getting what I'm trying to say.
How can I get it when I ask you what a form is and you say it's the essence of a thing? If you just keep saying the same words over and over again, how can anybody get it?
A form or an essence or a nature is the definition of what a thing is.
Okay. It's a definition then, which means...
And it's distinct from existence itself.
It is a definition that doesn't exist, which means it's not a function of the person or the entity or the thing that you're describing at all. It is something that you're putting onto it. That's what definitions are. Definitions are abstract descriptions in language.
They're not real.
They're not real. It's words. We made words up.
You're a nominalist then. The only thing that actually exists are the words that we put to them?
No, I didn't. The words don't exist. The words are the abstract concepts.
No.
They are the abstractions.
When you say they're just words, you're suggesting that you're a nominalist, that there is no real thing behind those words. Is there a real human being behind the definition of Matt, a human being? Also, he is an individual who has these particular characteristics.
Yes.
If I was to describe or define you.
Yes, there is a place.
That's what I would say, right?
There is a place and a label. The label is just something we make up. If we call this the United States, of America, we have made up a place. It is a word. It is a concept. It does not exist. It does not need to exist. But the thing that it's pointing to, this particular block of land established with the government, et cetera, that thing exists and can be demonstrated. But it can be called anything.
Wait 1 second. Just hear the rest from Matt. Just hear the rest from Matt. Just to be sure, was that the end of your sentence, Matt? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't quite understand what you're saying, because there is a reality behind the words that I'm using. If you say the United States, there is a place called the United States.
Correct. But the word United States is something we made up. It has no meaning and it has no existence. The word, the concept lives in a brain. And we could have called it the blubba show. We could be living in the blah. Yeah. Yes. That is the thing.
Yeah.
So the thing exists, not the word.
I'm not saying the word exists.
But you did, because you literally said form, essence, and nature are the definition. But definitions are descriptions that we place onto things. They are not essences of the things.
That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. We are describing the essence by giving it a nature, or we're describing the nature by giving it a definition.
I have no problem at all.
There's a reality there that we are looking at and examining and writing down a definition. I'm not saying the definition in and of itself, the word, we can call it whatever you want. You could call it what you're goobly gobbly, whatever. I'm talking about what's behind, what that language signifies. There is a real.
Me too. And when we begin to describe, for example, let's define this pen. All of the things that we can say about this pen, what writing's on it, what color it is, what size it is, what kind of ink it is, how full it is, where it is, at what angle it is, what temperature it is, all of those things are physical properties of this.
This is the moment the entire debate finally breaks open. Because for over 40 minutes, Kenny has been using the words essence and form and nature as if they are self-explanatory, as if repeating them with enough philosophical confidence eventually makes them mean something. And Matt has been patient. He has asked, he has waited, he has given Kenny every opportunity to produce a concrete answer. And then Kenny says something that I genuinely could not believe when I heard it. Matt asks him to demonstrate essence. Kenny says he can demonstrate it easily, and then he says he can take a form and build a house. Matt immediately stops him. What form? What specifically is the form? What is the essence of a thing? And Kenny's answer is, the essence of a thing is what makes it what it is. That is the same sentence, restructured, with different words and different positions, but it is the same sentence. Matt calls it out immediately. You keep defining the exact same word using the same word. That is a tautology, and the frustrating thing is that this is not a trick or a gotcha. Matt is genuinely asking, how can anyone understand an argument when the central term in that argument is only ever defined by restating itself? And this is where it gets even more revealing. Kenny's response is to say that if Matt asked him what a form is, he could say it is a definition of what a thing is. Matt points out this creates an immediate problem, because if a form is a definition, then definitions are abstract descriptions that exist in language, not in the world, which means form does not exist as a real thing. It is something we put onto things. Kenny has just accidentally handed Matt the conclusion he has been pushing for the entire debate.
What is it that is not physical that you say is the essence of this pen?
Penness. We describe it as a writing utensil.
No. Writing utensil is a description we put onto what this is used for. That is not an essence of the thing. And when I ask you, what is it about this pen? If you say penness, that is not even remotely a response that adds anything of substance. What is God like? God-like. What is life? Life. What is existence? Existence. What is the essence? It's the essence. I'm asking for something that teaches us what you mean.
I get what you're saying, but without that pen in front of us, if I said pen, you would know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Do you know why?
Right. Yes, because there is a real reality behind what a pen is.
No, because you and I speak the same language, and we each have a concept in our head that is similar but not identical concepts. When you say pen in English and I hear it, we are communicating information. We are not presenting the essence of a pen. We are using language to trigger something in my head, the same as what's been triggered, or as close as we can get to the thing that's been triggered in your head. There's not an essence that we're identifying. We're using a description.
This is the way I would submit the answer to that. Somebody came up with the concept of a pen, a writing utensil, or whatever. Same way, let's put it back onto human beings. Conceptually, there was an essence of what a human being is. Now, I'm saying that essence exists apart from a human being. I'm not a realist in the sense of there are Platonic forms out there, but there is really a human nature that resides in you and me that we mutually share, that is distinct from us, not separated from us, but distinct from us. All that we see, the multiplicity of what is, because there is no existing principle or property within human beings. We have it contingently, we have it accidentally. Again, we must look to something that has existence in and of itself, and that has been popularly defined as God. I'm not saying that penness exists outside of an individual pen, but I'm saying that is a real reality that conceptually we identify, and human beings created a pen. If we push that back to human beings, there is a nature that you have and I have that we share in common. We are both human beings, and we share in that. That is the unifying aspect of what we are. Now, as individuals, there is still a substance there by which we make predications. I'm saying that because there are essences in this world, it's the same composition, matter and form, essence, existence. These things are synonymous. A form, an essence, or a nature, those words are all synonymous.
And then Matt does something I find genuinely brilliant as a debating move. He picks up a pen and he asks Kenny to tell him what is not physical about it. Think about what this question does. Kenny's entire framework requires that there is something beyond the physical, some form or essence that is distinct from the matter. And Matt is holding a physical object and asking Kenny to point to it. Not describe it. Point to it. Show me what is not physical about this pen. And Kenny says the pen is a writing utensil. Matt says no. Writing utensil is a description we put onto what this is used for. That is not an essence. That is a label. Kenny says, well, if I said pen, you would know what I am talking about. Matt says yes, because we speak the same language and we each have a concept in our heads that is similar. We are using language to trigger something in each other's minds. We are not presenting the essence of a pen. This is the distinction that Matt has been trying to draw out for the entire debate. The word pen does not reveal essence. It triggers a shared concept. And shared concepts are not evidence of some metaphysical reality called essence. They are evidence that language works. That is a very different claim. And Kenny has no answer for it. He goes back to human beings. He says, there is really a human nature that resides in you and me that we mutually share. Matt has heard this before. He knows where it goes. And the viewer at this point has also heard it before, which means they know what Matt is about to say before he says it.
What a thing is, and that it exists, are distinct. There must be one that has given an act of existence to what we see in reality in order to ground that reality. That's my argument. I think we got bogged down on some of this particular stuff that's probably boring other people real bad. But
well, the problem is that the question was, is there good reason to believe in a God? And as far as I can tell, you think the good reason to believe in a God is that there must be something that serves as the essence grounder. But throughout
I don't think you're quite getting my argument here.
I don't know, but
to be honest, I might not be communicating it as well as I can. But
you've literally said several times tonight that there must be the thing that there's a difference between what is and that is, and that there must be a thing that brings into being that is, that serves as the grounding for that is.
Not well.
I don't know. In any case, here.
Yeah, this was supposed
to be a debate about whether or not there's good evidence for the existence of God. And whatever it is that Kenny's saying is good evidence for the existence of God.
I'm submitting
Am I going to get to finish?
Hold on. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Somehow gets to essence. And for the last 45 minutes or more, I've been trying to get to any sort of definition or understanding of what essence is that isn't a bald assertion or a tautology. And I defy anyone to show anything here that isn't either a bald assertion, that there's something, that there's some nature distinct from us, there's some essence distinct from us that is humanness, that is penness, that isn't merely a description of what we are and what we do.
There's a multiplicity of books out there that you can grab.
Yeah, but I came to debate you, Kenny, and if you can't answer the question, what am I supposed to do? Go read a book?
I don't think you're understanding my answers. What the problem is.
Okay, then it's my fault, not yours. No, I'm just not able to comprehend this.
I can bear the blame of not communicating it accurately, but that's why I've been repeating myself. This is not
repeating is not educating. Repeating is not edifying.
I didn't say it was. I said because my perception is you're not getting the argument is why I've been repeating myself. I'm not
okay,
a one-off with what I'm saying.
Like to get back
you knew
to
I wasn't getting it, and you know repeating doesn't help. Why the hell would you repeat if you know somebody's not getting it?
Because that helps with people when you repeat something. Eventually,
you literally just said repeating doesn't help, and you knew it didn't help. All right, whatever. What's next?
And here is where Matt delivers the closing assessment that the entire segment has been building toward. He steps back from the specific exchange about pens and human nature and forms and says, look, the question tonight was whether there is good reason to believe in a God, and as far as he can tell, Kenny's answer is that there must be something that serves as the essence grounder. That is his evidence. That is his reason. An undefined term serving as the foundation for an undefined argument pointing to a predetermined conclusion. Kenny says Matt is not getting his argument, and Matt says something that I think is one of the most precise things said in this entire debate. Repeating is not the same as educating. If you repeat something and the person still does not get it, the answer is not to repeat it again louder. The answer is to try a different approach, to use a different analogy, to define the term differently, to provide an example that actually points to something. And then comes the trap. Kenny says the reason he has been repeating is because Matt is not getting the argument. Matt fires back, you just told me that repeating does not help, so if you knew repeating did not help, why did you keep repeating? Kenny has no answer. The moderator steps in. The exchange ends. And that is the thing about this moment that makes it so significant. It is not just that Matt won the argument on the merits, which he did. It is that Kenny's own words became the evidence against his own method. He admitted repeating does not work, and then got caught doing exactly that in real time, on camera. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.